everybody, it's Elizabeth from Apr Astrology at alpusastrology.com. So this video is going to highlight what my take is on the astrology for April 2025. I'll also do a peek for May towards the end of my introduction. So we don't have eclipses this month, but we do have a full moon in Libra and a new moon that is in Taurus, and both Mercury and Venus will go direct this month. So there will be a month of a lot of progress forward, I feel. At least the inkling of seeing, okay, I see where we're going to go now. And where we're going to go with that, I'll talk about in a minute. So we also have Neptune that is going to be in Aries all month. And every time I look at, the glyphs for both Neptune itself and Aries, I'm always thinking of the Knights Templar. And so it has that element to it when we have this Neptune, which is many ways ideologies in Aries, right? A big sort of movement forward. Aries is very military-like as well because it's ruled by Mars. So there is that element of it. But there's also another element with this too. And it can be great creativity, right? Individual creativity, unique new ideas. And we're getting that from the Aries part of it, right? The Neptune part can bring up music, for instance. There may be some really unique individuals, that's the Aries, creating beautiful music. Maybe even art could be put in here too. Films fall in this category as well. So when we look at the 6th of April, we've got a lovely transit, and that is the Sun sextile Jupiter. And so this is a great day to get together with friends, for instance. It's also a great day to grow new ideas. So if you want to pick a day, say out of the month, that would be ideal to start something new or to maybe bring in some initiatives with other people. That 6th of April is going to be really good for you. And of course, these days that I'm going to be giving you really fall into Pacific time, right? So that's a really great thing to have. We also have the next day on the 7th of April, we have Mercury now going direct at 26 Pisces, 50 minutes. And this may be a day when secrets come out. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this Mercury going direct. And just to let you know the background of how I think about that, Mercury is about communications of any sort, right? It's also our thoughts too. Some people forget that. But the Neptune part can be, say with this, going retrograde, a Mercury retrograde in Pisces can actually be hidden things being hidden from you. Well, now with Mercury going direct in Pisces, those secrets are going to pop out. So expect that day, either individually or collectively, right, on the world stage. Now, the other thing about this degree of 26 Pisces is, if you recall last year in September 2024, we had our first Pisces eclipse, and it was at 25 Pisces. So I'm just thinking that if there's been a delay from something, say you did in September, something was brought to light, maybe even something ended, a culmination of some sort, this Mercury going direct at that same degree point may bring some facts to light for you that have up to now either not been clear or were kind of shrouded in some secrecy of some sort, or just hidden from view. That's what I got with that Mercury going direct at that degree point, so close to the eclipse last September 2024. So when we move on to the 12th of April, we have our first lunation, and it is a full moon. It is at 23 Libra, 20 minutes. It's at 5:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Now, the ruler of this full moon in Libra is, of course, Venus. And notably, that same day, the 12th of April, that Venus is going to be going direct. And it will go direct at 24 degrees, Pisces, 37 minutes, at 6:04 p.m. on the 12th of April. So that Venus is going direct is tied in intimately with that full moon. I'm thinking that probably this could have something to do with a female. I really got this strongly that a female is going to be stepping in here at this full moon. and able to take some action of some sort. Now, if you bring it out to sort of a more generalized areas of life, Venus can represent love, for instance. So there may be some folks say that maybe had some issues in this department, love that is. And the Venus going direct will give you an understanding of where you're really at. Maybe someone will actually get in touch with you, or you connect finally with your loved one. It can also be values, and it can also be money. So all three of these areas could start being seen as moving forward in some way, or things are cleared up in some way. I mean, you may even have potentially at this full moon money coming back to you too, because Venus can represent that as well. Now, it is at that 24 Pisces 37, so you really need to look at those degree points in your own chart to see if you may be affected by this or not. At that same full moon, we have Venus and Saturn conjunct, and both Venus and Saturn will be sextiling Uranus. Well, this could bring in some serious relationships for some folks, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, both that Venus and Saturn are in Pisces. So this is kind of like when Venus is in Pisces, it's exalted. Pisces is seen as, or Neptune, which rules Pisces, is really seen as the higher octave of Venus. So this full moon for some folks could be bringing in, even though it's a full moon, some kind of ideal love of some sort, right? Or maybe a soul mate type thing. And it may come in unexpectedly because we've got that sextile with Uranus. It's almost like sudden opportunities to have some real tangible love in your life. But it can also be sudden tangible opportunities to make some money, right? We have also sextiling Uranus, we will have Mars. And that just is sudden opportunities to move forward. Yeah, action, lights, camera, action time. We have the Sun conjunct Chiron. And along with that, Mars sextiling Uranus, Mars will also be trining the North Node. I see that as a very positive thing. This full moon could bring in some clear actions and maybe ideas regarding where our future destiny is. That type of thing, right? Now, the moon will widely trine Jupiter at this time. So this is positive energy, basically, growth in emotional types of things, right? Now, because that moon, that full moon, is in Libra, and Jupiter can rule things like the law, and Libra can rule laws, there may be something come up at this full moon regarding laws of some sort. And in fact, there may even be some laws brought in at this time, or new laws made at this time. The law itself may favorably step up here and do something very positive. We have Pluto in a wide sextile to Neptune, and this kind of configuration is going to be on and off for a little while too. I've mentioned it before, but this is very positive. This is positive opportunities to develop maybe new ideals. Powerful positive opportunities to use Neptune as a positive force with regards to music, sculpture, the film industry. These may all be up for some kind of positive transformation. And this may come through, unique individuals coming to light here that have not had their time to shine. Now we have this huge lineup on this full moon of Venus, Saturn, the North nodes, and Mercury, all in Pisces. And generally speaking, they're all kind of conjunct within a few degrees. And so I really saw this as this full moon being with a group of people, a plan is put into effect for the future. That's what I got from this. Everything is going direct at this point as well. So, yeah, positive for that type of activity. Again, if you're planning for something where you have to get together with a group of people and come up with some kind of serious plan, let's just say with regards to money, because Venus can represent money too. This would be a good time to get together. What is the future of our money here going to be? And this can play out on a collective level too, right? But because we've got that influence of the sign Pisces, there's always this potential opportunity of deception coming in as well. Or at the very least, confusion. But it's a powerful setup with that Saturn sort of tempering everything and saying, let's make this real, for this to be turning out in a positive way, right? And, you know, that huge lineup that I just mentioned has Mars at 22 degrees of Cancer on this full moon, trining all these planets within a few degrees. And so this again says action, right? Movement forward with regards to getting serious about our money, getting serious about what's important for us, what is it we want to attract in for our future, and talking about it and taking action with the Mars. On the 19th of April, we have that Mars moving to Leo, right? Fire sign Leo. And so we have the Sun now squaring that Mars. So this can bring in frustrations, basically. Somebody wants to move forward. Now that Sun can represent an important male in the world. And the square to Mars says movement forward is delayed, or there's a challenge to moving forward with some plans. And because we're talking about that Mars now being in Leo, right, on the 19th of April, not in Cancer anymore, these could be viewed as edicts, right? I mean, Leo is seen as, you know, Leo the lion. It's seen as the royal sign, right? The king, the queen. But the king or queen is going to have some challenges here with regards to moving forward. There's a block that's going to happen on that 19th of April. So certainly if you've got these degrees, so we really are talking at about 0-1 degree here, right? That you should consider carefully not moving forward with stuff maybe that particular day if you've got these degrees. But then, so Mars stays in Leo for the rest of the month, right? So there's a big influence there of, there's a lot of pride associated with the sign of Leo as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be blown out of proportion. Like, you know, what's that saying about, you know, too much power can be corrupt, that type of thing. I'm not giving the exact, but someone could put the exact phrase in there. But that, it can go as high as that, as pride gets blown up, right? There could be someone insisting on having their own way and not listening to anybody. You don't want to behave that way that day for sure. All right. We have then coming up here on the 20th of April, for those that celebrate Easter, that's it. It's on the 20th of April this year. So happy Easter to everybody. Now, when we look at Venus and Saturn, as we already talked about them being together in Pisces, they are exact in Pisces on the 25th of April. So this might be a day where you have practical considerations for love or money. It can also, though, be a day of creativity where you're able to put structure around something that's creative in your life too. But this can involve anything like music or an art project of some sort. Yeah. The only thing, the negative side of that, is that it can dampen the feelings of love, where you're looking more at how is this practical for me, right? The Saturn part says, is this love practical for me? And it's more taking a hard look at the love in your life potentially, right? But it can also have you taking a hard look at your own values, right? Maybe be even challenged by your own values. Are you valuing yourself as well? Can also bring in maybe some tap on the shoulder to say, are you taking care of your money here? Or are you spending too much? All right. When we come up now to the 26th, the 27th of April, there's a number of things going on, including a new moon in Taurus. So let's talk about that new moon in Taurus. The new moon in Taurus is at 12:30 p.m., that's Pacific Daylight Time, at 7 Taurus, 46 minutes. Now, the thing that's going with this, that starts on the 26th, but is also there on the 27th at that new moon, is we have that final setup of Mars in Leo opposing Pluto. Exactly. And so this day can, at the highest level, this can bring in some real aggressive, boastful, bullying-like tactics. It can also even bring in treachery, that type of thing, because Pluto is powerful people, powerful things, power and transformation. And then Mars is very much about, I got to take action here, and especially in Leo, you know, you've got a lot of pride associated with the action and the power. So there may be, and I mean, if we take it down to an Earth level, this could also be a day or days around where there's kind of like explosive energy on Earth. So this could be like volcanoes, right? That type of thing. Or even earthquakes could happen around this time too. Now, that new moon also has a few other aspects happening into it. So we have Mercury, that's, as we know, already going direct, is going to be out of shadow that day as well. So when we look at the whole transit of a Mercury retrograde, as well as the Venus retrograde too, it's always a given that you should really wait for that planet to come out of its shadow period before you really make plans or you really know you've got the information that you need. So this new moon in Taurus could certainly bring out that as well, where you get, maybe you sign a contract this day. This is a new moon, right? In Taurus, signing a contract all works out for you. Good day to sign a contract, actually, or days following that. So any confusion that you may have had may now be cleared up around this new moon. The confusion could potentially be to do with contracts, a writing project. It could even be a confusion regarding your thoughts. You've not been able to sort them out, and now they start clearing up for you. But certainly communications that have gone awry, maybe in the previous month of March, now we see them being cleared up towards the end of April, around this new moon in Taurus. Yeah, I mean, I already spoke about that lineup in Pisces, but what's interesting at this new moon in Taurus is that lineup of Venus, Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune, is that Neptune will be in Aries at this point, right? So it seems to me that there's a slightly different setup here with regards to maybe things being made more real. Now I'm thinking, because Taurus and Scorpio can both kind of represent some financial things, I'm thinking that this new moon with the lineup of Venus, Saturn, North Node conjuncting Neptune in Aries, that there may be some new initiative with regards to our money markets that becomes more concrete, right? That Saturn makes it real, or something, real life stuff comes up about money, that this is the way it is. There's no more fooling around here. This is what's happening. And some new thing has to happen here with regards to our money. So we talked about that Mercury going out of shadow. Just to let you know, Venus will also go out of shadow, but it's not going to be till mid-May. We have Neptune is going to be widely trining that Mars that is in Leo. So now we're looking at Neptune that is going to be in Aries, and the Mars is going to be in Leo. And I think that's a lovely setup. Again, this can go back to those beautiful things that Neptune represents, which is music, many forms of art, dance, the film industry, Even our own hopes, dreams, and wishes. Maybe get some action going forward here, right? So if you do have something, say, around that 1 degree of Aries, and that Mars, which is at around 4 degrees of Leo, this may be a great day, this new moon in Taurus, to see some of your dreams moving forward. So, sort of capping this new moon in Taurus is Uranus. And Uranus will be sextiling the North Node, both the 27th all the way through the 30th of April. So this just says to me, there's sudden opportunity to break free and to move into a new path for your future. It also can represent scientific breakthroughs, or both of these things. Certainly opportunities, that's the sextile part. To break free, that's Uranus. Together with that North Nodes, it's to break free of something that maybe been holding you back, where you've not been able to get on your future destiny path. These few days, 27th to 30th of April, could really be fantastic for you, right? So we're really looking at around this Uranus is around 26 of Taurus, and then the North Node's at 26 of Pisces. Yeah. I think it's going to be both. Scientific breakthroughs are going to come through towards the end of April, but also all of a sudden, sudden opportunities just go whoosh. We're breaking free here. All right. So now let's go into the individual sun signs and or ascendants. I suggest you look at both. Do your ascendant first to see what areas of life are being affected, and then getting more information using your sun sign. But it's entirely up to you, whatever really resonates with you. So Pisces, that full moon that we have happening in Libra towards the beginning of April is actually in your 8th house. Now recall that a full moon means that the moon is in one sign, right? And we know that this full moon is in Libra. So that means the sun is in the opposite sign of Aries. Now this axis of your 8th house and your 2nd house basically speaks to finances. And the 8th house is shared resources. It's where mortgages are. It's where your credit cards are. Any pensions that you might have, 401ks, your own investments that you make. It also rules inheritances as well. Now, it's going to be the rare Pisces that has an inheritance potentially come in at this full moon. But I would say that typically what I see this as is you using these energies to tie up maybe a couple credit cards that need to be paid off. Maybe you're at the end of your mortgage and you're making the last payment on that as well. This full moon is a culmination, right? It can be an ending as well, an ending to some kind of investments. Maybe you're going to cash in some of your investments. Maybe you're going to retire. That's the other thing when I saw this full moon for your Pisces, is that some of you may be retiring and have to cash in, end some of these things and access your 401k or some of your investments, right? And that you stop where that sun is in the 2nd house, which is where you earn your income, that's actually stopped, right? So that's kind of a good way of playing out this. But if there's anything that you need to do with regards to your finances, including if you, say, have a financial advisor that hasn't worked out for you, this would be a good time, this full moon, to change up that financial advisor and get a new one that you really resonate with, right? The other thing that this can mean for that 8th house is it rules 2 other things as well. Your psychological mind, but also your sex life. And then together with that, this is also the house of secrets. In the natural zodiac, the 8th house is the house of Scorpio. So that kind of gives you an idea of the intensity of this house as well. But generally speaking, most astrologers take this as some kind of shared resources or investments at this time. But it is a culmination and potentially an ending as well to some of those shared resources. Now, when we look at the new moon in Taurus, well, that's great because it sextiles your sign, Pisces, and it sextiles your 3rd house. So this is kind of an active house. It's a new moon, so it means a new start with regards to anything to do with communications, This is short distance travel house as well. So you may, for whatever reason, decide you want to start doing this, visiting, or as part of your job, having to go around cities and or state that you live in. But this can also be things like sales and commerce. So there may be some Pisces that are setting up something for themselves with regards to, say, their own business, and maybe checking out the markets and that sort of thing. This could also be a writing project comes in for you. That's the other thing this could represent as well. And of course, neighbors and siblings fall into this category as well. So there may be some new start there for you as well. But communications are big here at this new moon in Taurus, where that's going to be important for you with regards to new starts. I guess the other thing this could be too is when I think back on jobs that I've done too, maybe you're going to take up some new way of communicating, right? Or there's a new template put out that tells you how you have to communicate. Even, when you put your slides together and that, you have to have a certain way of doing it according to the actual company that you're working for. Or you may actually be involved in putting that together. Or putting together SOPs, for instance, for your company as well. That might be a new start too. Now, the big thing for you, Pisces, is that Neptune has now gone out of your sign and is in Aries. Now, it will pop back and forth back into Pisces for kind of the rest of this year. But generally speaking, we can say that Neptune is now going into your second house, right? So that second house, and this is a rare thing. Don't forget that, Neptune takes about 165 years or so to go around the sun. So this will be a once in a lifetime thing for you, that now you're going to have Neptune not in your first house. That maybe potentially was causing some confusion for you. Now it's going to be in your second house. And so what I just spoke about, your financial houses, are lit up here again. So now we've got your second house, which is the money that you earn. So there could be, over this next, say, 7 years or so, you developing a source of income with regards to that Piscean element. And I always see this as mainly spiritual. This could be a compassionate project as well. Maybe you setting up a 501c type thing, and that's where you're getting some of your money over the next few years. But yeah, earning money through some kind of spiritual, metaphysical thing, and or through some compassionate type of energy is going to be up for you for quite a few years, Pisces. Now, the other thing you've got happening in April is you've got both Mercury and Venus going direct in your sign. So there's going to be some Pisces here that are going to have some things cleared up with regards to potentially money, right? We already spoke about that, because Venus can represent money. It can represent love. You could have a love coming back into your life as well. And maybe you're sorting that out during the month of April. But and you may be more realistic about it because, as I spoke about at the introduction, that Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn almost most of the month. So on and off. So I would say that you're going to become realistic in love for sure. And this may be as a result of someone from the past coming back into your life. And or serious about money as well. Now, the degrees we're talking about for both Mercury and Venus are between 24 and 26 degrees of Pisces. So you really have to have something around that to have some major effect. But communications in that will certainly be cleared up early on in the month of April for you if you've had some confusing things or contracts haven't worked out. Yeah. All right, Pisces, take care. Okay. I'm wishing everybody a happy Easter, sending everybody lots of love, and seek out happiness and harmony this month is what I would say is your watchwords. And if you want to have your chart done, just shoot me an email. All my contact info is below. You can go to my website as well and check out my services. That is also below too. Leave your comments. I always love hearing from you. Sending everybody lots of love, lots of happiness, and lots of chocolate Easter eggs. Bye for now, everybody.